Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of TJ Hates Quitters over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. My name is Carrie. I almost said my name is Katie. My name is Carrie. I'm joined by my co-host Katie. I just want to be here when I grow up. It's fine. And Katie, how are you tonight? This Wednesday post-challenge. How you doing?
I'm good. I had a little bit of a long day. I almost fell asleep mid-episode, so I'm glad I made it through. But I'm good. Good, another good episode. I'm loving the show. It's the perfect top off after Big Brother Misery every Wednesday. So it's like you start at the bottom and then you just go up. It's like Big Brother's a really good opening act for the headliner, you know? I don't even want to say they're a good opening act.
I was going to say really good.
You can kind of skip, but they're like a perfect, they fit right into that slot very well.
Mm-hmm. They're giving you an introduction to people who may be on this show if there is a season 2.
God, I hope not.
But I actually took a different route of what I watched before this. Actually, I shouldn't say directly before this because I was doing my homework directly before the episode. My goal was to get it done before the episode so I don't have to worry about it. But
so responsible.
Well, it's due tomorrow, and tomorrow's a very hectic day, and this guy is a hard grader, so I actually have to try. He gave me a 47 of 50 last week, and I was like, I gave you a good effort. I didn't know I have to give a great effort. So
I'd be like, okay, 47 out of 50, I'll take it. I mean,
listen, it's still an A, but it's more, it's a discussion board post, so you should be 50. If I did what I'm supposed to, give me a 50 out of 50. What are we doing here? Right. I did my research. I responded. I synthesized. What do you want? So Barely wants more. So anyway, I tried. But anyway, the point I'm making is I actually watched Love Island USA. The first episode. I watched the first 15-ish minutes, and then I was like, okay, I have to do my homework. Yeah. But I am going to keep up with Love Island USA, and by keep up, I mean be anywhere between 1 to 3 episodes behind at a time. But since it's on 6 days a week or 5 days a week or something, that's really not that bad. For me.
I actually watched the first episode most of the way through. I've never watched an episode of Love Island ever, but I was watching Vicky and Tamra on Watch What Happens Live last night, and then it came on on Bravo because now it's on Peacock. So they were like, "We're gonna play Watch What Happens. We're gonna play Love Island," and I was like, "Oh, interesting." So I watched it. I can't believe there's a person named Deb Chubb on the show, and that's really it. I just need to know more about Deb Chubb. That's I'm obsessed.
The fact that there's someone named Deb who is 20, I think she's 26, 27.
And she goes by Deb. I'd be hi, I'm Deborah, or whatever. I would never go by Deb.
Just call me D.
Yeah, call me anything but Deb. How about that? Yeah, what's my middle name? It can't be worse than Deb.
So yeah, I was watching that because I figure, well, first of all, I'm confused because CBS was showing me an ad, and I don't know if I'm getting the same ads as everyone because I was watching on my computer where it's show us your location or whatever. But CBS was giving us an ad for Love Island on Peacock.
Oh, I got a lot of
Peacock is NBC.
Yes, I was getting
contamination is happening here.
Yeah, it's very strange. I was getting ads during the challenge for sure for Love Island.
I'm confused. I'm so confused.
I'm also confused.
I need some answers. If there's somebody who can tell me why that's happening, please do. Tweet at me, KGD26, because I tweeted about it twice today because Twitter was like, Love Island live on CBS. I'm like, is it?
Yeah, that's wrong.
And then during the commercial break that I saw, I'm like, I don't get this. So anyway, if you know, tell me. But all right, we've talked about everything except the challenge right now. Let's get into the challenge because again, 3 for 3, great episodes, 3 for 3 on Kiki comments. We're just 3 for 3 in it all over the place here.
Kiki has more of a presence than 70% of the cast on this show.
Absolutely. We heard more from Kiki than we did from Azah.
We didn't hear anything from Azah. We barely heard anything from David.
That's fine.
We didn't hear almost anything from Xavier this episode other than one confessional at the end. But we did get our Kiki in, so.
I need that to happen every week now.
I think it's going to have to. They did it 3 weeks in a row. I feel like they're going to have to keep it up every week.
If they drop that ball, I'm going to be upset.
I will be upset too.
If Danny goes home, I need someone's confessional to be like, I know that Danny would say that Kiki said. I need that to be kept alive no matter what happens. So We start this episode off, which seems like we're going to be starting off most of the episodes in the same way, which is determining the partners. And a quick rundown of these. We had David and Shannon, Kylan and Angela, Derek and Shan, Ben and Kira. Why do I always say Kira? Enzo and Desi, Dominic and Cash, Danny and Azza, Xavier and Kayla, Tyson and Alyssa, Cinco and Sarah, Leo and Justine, James and Tasha.
Mm-hmm.
As those pairs came off the algorithm's board, were there any that left you with any sort of impression that you need to tell the great listeners of TJ Hates Quitters?
No, not really this week. I didn't really feel strongly about any of them. I felt bad for Shannon. I thought this was going to be like the perfect opportunity to get rid of David. Because, like, why is he on the show? I don't know. I'm, like, the biggest David hater. Every week I come in with, like, a hating on David take. But, like, really, why is he on the show? Why has he ever been on TV? I don't understand. Why has he ever been on TV? I don't know.
I don't know. Even Shan was like, yeah, he really doesn't have any relationships in the house. It's like, what does he do?
I don't know. So I'm surprised they weren't thrown in, I guess, because David's, like, big brother. But, like, you want to talk about a weak team. Yeah. No shade to Shannon. I like Shannon.
Yeah. No, she's definitely been better than I anticipated, given, like, I knew nothing about her, but I felt that with Shannon coming in, that there really wasn't, it didn't seem like there was any other, like, young, hot, blonde brunette for her to, like, valley girl with, you know? But she has surprised me entirely. I enjoy her, and I am sorry for thinking that you wouldn't be able to fit in with people that don't look like you. So,
yeah,
you can stick around, Shannon. It just sucks that you have to partner with David.
Yeah, but hey, she made it out unscathed somehow.
Yeah, somehow. I do think that probably has to do with the idea of, like, again, not trying to take that first shot. But, I mean, is David ever going to be able to retaliate a shot? Probably not unless he gets partnered with, like, Angela. And it would have been Angela taking the shot.
If I'm Angela and I win this challenge, the first person I'm putting up is David, because I'm like, no, what's not going to happen is me getting paired up with this man. So that's the first one I want out.
That's the logic they're going with this season, too, is, like, which is something, let's talk about it right now. Well, you know, fuck going in order. Let's talk about this right now. So
we're going off vibes.
You know I love going off vibes, especially in a finale, but it's only episode 3. So in like normal challenge, flagship challenge, it is the norm for rookies to go in, and obviously everybody's a rookie. So then it's like we put layups in, and there's 2 ways. Like, you either want to go against a layup in the elimination, or you want to go against a layup in the final. Like, but we are currently very headstrong on we want the strongest of the strong to be at the end with us.
Yeah.
What do you think of this strategy it seems to be very much spearheaded by Tyson and Angela. Kylan brought it up. He was Angela's partner this round. It feels like Sarah is kind of on the ins with that. But what do you think of this strategy?
I can understand where they're coming from in terms of, like, I don't want to get partnered with a weak person. But there's no way I want to run a final against all the strongest people in the house. Like, give me the David Alexanders in the final so I can win. I want to give myself the best chance to win.
Yeah, I feel like taking out the weak people, if you're just, like, gonna, is it pagong them, right? Right out right now? To me, like, you're totally discrediting your social game, because especially with, like, the pairs are random. So yeah, can you end up in, like, a survivor pair and, like, Big Brother Love Island wins and likely be put in? Yes, but also that means, like, why aren't you talking amongst everyone? To me, if we're relying so much on, like, our TV show to save us, then I think that we're lacking a little bit of social game. Like, we see Tyson insulating himself with the strongest woman in the house, who also is from Big Brother. And by strongest woman in the house, I mean, Sarah Lucina might give her a run for her money, but otherwise.
Sorry.
I got to state the facts, you know?
I know.
So to me, I'm a little, you know, I'm questioning it a little bit.
Yeah, and I also think like you can't assume every single challenge is going to be completely physical. Like most are, but everybody on the show, I feel like at in some way or another has proven themselves to be good at something. Like I don't feel like we have any clear layups or clear like, you know, on the challenge we get a lot of people who just come in and drink and want to party and don't work out and whatever, and we get into fights with people about that and stuff like, but we don't really see any of those people on this show. It feels like everybody there is a competitor at this point, at least in some way. Like even James, who may not have been the most physically strong, is super smart and super strategic, and that makes him a strong player, in my opinion. It's not only about the physical, and you know, I think there's puzzles, there's memorization, there's a lot of things that maybe, you know, someone who looks a little less strong than you would be good at.
Every challenge so far, at least the daily challenge, has had some sort of like cerebral part to it. You couldn't just depend on a strength one. Now, given I wouldn't mind seeing just a strength one. I can't remember if you were with me when I was talking to Tito, but whenever I think of like just pure physical strength, I think of that the daily challenge from oh shoot, I can't remember which season it was, but I think of CT and Zach specifically, where they had like the tunnels dug out in the ground and you'd get like your 3 balls from one side to the other, and like there was just room to make very physical contact with people. Like I wouldn't mind seeing one like that, but I do like that there's some equalizers in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean like it's hard to say. Like you could have argued that Cinco and Sarah are maybe the strongest pair this week, like straight up strongest.
Yeah, physically, yeah.
But it didn't fucking matter. Like
no, it didn't.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I think that this is the best strategy. However, I also completely understand that this is a new version of the challenge, and these people have almost everyone who's been cast has a level of like intelligence to them and physical ability to them where we don't always see that on MTV's The Challenge.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, look at Josh Martinez.
So I'm willing to say, okay, I'll see how this plays out. I just am a little skeptical of it. That's all.
Totally. We'll see how it goes.
So do you think that TJ is enjoying the season more than let's eliminate All Stars, because I think All Stars just brings him a certain type of joy in the fact that like he still has all these people around, but
and he has like these long-standing relationships,
right? Like he's able to, like Tina can call him a motherfucker, and he's like ha 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 ha, you know, like I think that if any of these people called him a motherfucker, he would try to throw down like they were Cyrus back in like Gauntlet 2 or whatever season it was. But yeah, do you think that TJ having more fun?
Yeah, I do think he's having more fun. He just keeps saying how like you guys have so much heart, more heart than I've seen in a really long time. And to me, that's like a direct shot at the flagship show. Even maybe All Stars, because we've seen people quit. I mean, like Beth just quit in Elimination last season. You know, like it's like, but we get these people who are just flops that come on the regular challenge, but they keep coming back because they're just characters that we know from forever. This group is truly, they're all competing. No one's throwing challenges. Everybody's playing really hard. And I think TJ loves that. I think he probably also thought, oh, these people from these reality shows are coming on, like big deal. And I think he's been genuinely impressed by all of them so far.
Yeah, I think so
and
too.
I have been too, actually.
Yeah, I agree entirely. You, me, and TJ all give this cast 5 stars so far.
Yeah. And I was not enthused when I saw this cast announced. I was actually like actively making fun of them on social media, but I'm impressed. They've proven me wrong so far.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how things go. But it just is nice to see TJ enjoy this because I mean, his life is currently the challenge. He's filming like year round
all the
now.
time.
So I'm glad that at least 2 of the 3 series are bringing him some fun.
Totally agree. And don't worry, TJ, the flagship challenge isn't bringing anybody fun, so it's not just you.
I'm hoping for, I mean, it's only season 38. But
Only.
30, well, I say that framing the next part of the, like, season 39 has already been like greenlit. It's definitely happening.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like gonna tread water until season 40 and hope that we get it back at 40. Like, put us back on the right track.
I hope so. Maybe they'll pull a Survivor and be like, the new era.
Yeah,
We'll
something,
see.
anything.
Something. Yeah.
Make TJ compete in season 40. I don't know, but
Oh my God.
I think he's had too many serious injuries to
I
actually
think
do
so
that.
too.
But
Yeah, I think so too.
nonetheless, just give me something.
Yeah.
Something that comes up a lot during this episode is the 3-person alliance that is the Amazing Race. And we see them bonding at the beginning of just like, we've gotten through 2 eliminations so far. We have to stick together.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're not doing things in order. We see James like kind of snake Leo later in this episode.
Yeah, this is a terrible move.
Talk to me about this terrible move.
Because it's like, James, you might want to integrate yourself with Survivor, but there's so many survivors in this house that, like, it's going to be pretty hard for you to get in and be at least, like, equal to anybody that's even in, like, the middle. You would be maybe at the bottom of that alliance because they need you for something. I mean, there's no house voting, so I don't really know what they would need the additional number for, other than maybe if you win a challenge, you won't throw a survivor in, but that's, like, an if. So there's really no value that he can offer them. In a normal challenge, maybe they could say, like, I'll vote with you all the time or whatever. But there's no voting. So what benefit are you giving to Survivor right now? Nothing. Amazing Race, at least it's like, well, if one of the 3 of you is in a pair that gets in, like, just keep each other safe and you can potentially make it. It just doesn't seem like it was a smart move. And I also don't think that he would have been able to beat Leo in an elimination. Like, that's like I think you're making a really big assumption that you're going to be able to beat him and take his money. Plus, it makes you look like a snake to the rest of the house, so no one's going to trust you, and then they're going to want to throw you in every time if you didn't win.
Right. That's another great point that I didn't even think of. Like, you're willing to betray your other 2 Amazing Race players to maybe have a chance at beating him. Like, maybe. The other thing to me is that if you were to say, like, who's currently holding the most power in this house, it's probably Tyson.
Oh, no question.
And you owe Tyson a favor. So, like, you're already in debt to this guy. So you think that, like, he needs you? He absolutely doesn't. You need him. Like, trying to jump onto this Survivor thing, especially when you can't do it this season. You just absolutely can't.
No,
There's
you
a
can't.
Season 2. It might be easier to infiltrate because people are going to piss each other off. You'll get a couple different Survivor people in. You'll have a year of being able to like their Instagram pictures, slide in the DMs, like meet up at the like Wendell and Bryce events. Like, you can put some work in. Or
Kylan's birthday party in Miami.
Right. Like, you can get lap dances too. So you have the time, but like to try and disrupt those lines in such a, to me, foolish way, because then, like, Leo is right. It doesn't even matter that he didn't go in. The trust is broken. So even if James came back, he's not going to, like, I've got one eye on James at all times. Like, he's not my ally. He's just like my acquaintance at that point.
Totally. I have, if I'm in bed with James, I'm sleeping with one eye open for sure.
Yeah.
After this, if he were to come back. So this was just this was a bad move.
Those beds are small. But we saw
they're small.
Sarah and Cash. Was it Sarah? You know how Cash was talking about her relationship?
Was that Sarah? I don't know who she was talking to, actually.
I wrote, was that Sarah? But
I don't know who she was talking to.
Not sure. So if someone who's watching knows, I mean, what sucks about watching it live and going right after is you can't rewind. And it's kind of just like, well, at least I can't, because I'm watching like the poor man's version on my computer and not like where you can rewind live TV and then just catch up during a commercial. So I thought that was Sarah and Cash. But yeah, I mean, anyway, you said if I'm in bed with James, that's like two people thinking those beds could be hard. But we did see two people laying there when Cash was talking about Cinco. And then I thought it was funny. Okay. I took a trip with Dominic in terms of my like perspective on Dominic throughout this episode. And at this point, I was laughing when Dominic was like, "Why are we talking about dating games?" Like,
yeah, this was funny. I think the editing helped too, because it's like he like ripped through the screen kind of, and they like made it. I don't know. It's just like
this part made me laugh. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. But as we go through this episode with Dominic and Cash being partners, I kind of lost respect for Dominic along the way.
Oh, I didn't kind of lose respect. I 1,000% have no respect for Dominic. Like, who do you think you are talking shit about Cash when you are like peak dad bod? You don't look fit whatsoever. Like, who the fuck are you, dude? Just because you came in second place on Survivor? Like, Wendell beat you. Sorry. Fair and square, he beat you. So, like, Wendell's better anyway, so.
And correct me if I'm wrong. On their season, it went 5-5, and didn't the votes split exactly like?
Yes.
Was it Dominic had the first half of the jury, and Wendell got the second half of the jury?
I don't know exactly, but yeah,
one
of those
things
right.
happened. I'm not 100% confident which way it went, but I do think that Wendell got the votes of the people who were around longer.
I think so too. I think you're right.
Which to me says like, okay, in seeing how he's talking to Cash right now, like it can make sense in terms of, oh, well, maybe your like personality management of yourself was not the best, because the way he was disrespectful to her. And if it wasn't for her in that elimination, it's Dominic going home, because Dominic was an idiot and didn't listen to the rules.
Yep. Yeah, okay, so Wendell got Angela, Chelsea, Donathan, Kellen, Laurel, and Sebastian. So I think that's the back half of the...
Oh, so then Dominic...
Because Donathan was around for a while.
Oh, wait, no, that's what I said. Okay.
Yeah, so you're right. So Wendell got...
Yeah.
Yes. And was voted for... Who was it, Laurel? Was Laurel the one that broke the tie?
Yeah, Laurel broke the tie.
Voted for Wendell. Yeah. She could have voted either way. She voted for Wendell. So, like, fuck you, Dom. Get off your high ego. Like, I don't know why you think you're the man. You're not. Washed up. Get out of here.
And the way he was like, I'm a construction boss. Like, I tell my workers how to feel, not the other way around. When Cash was like, listen, you're not playing smart. Like, why are you going around and telling people that you want to go in? We're ready to go in. Like, why would you be advertising that? And he's like, I am ready. I think it's my time to go in. Like, and she's like, no. Why are you doing?
You're not playing for yourself. But we're a team. Of all, yes, they're a team. Second of all, like, what kind of a leader or a boss are you that you think you know better than literally everybody around you, and you don't take anybody's opinion into account when you're working on a construction site or anywhere for that matter? Like, you're a bad boss. You're bad at this game. You're a douchebag. You're hating on Cash for no reason. You're acting like she brings no value to the table. And you know what? She won you your fucking elimination. So you're an idiot. You're a fool. You got exactly what you deserved at the end of that. I wanted him to lose so bad just because it would have been his fault.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get to the elimination because I have questions about that. But yeah, the trip I took with Dom was like, oh, ha ha ha, that comment was funny. To like, I don't really like how you're talking right now. It's like, oh, you're just a dick. Like, that's... He
was like basically calling her dumb.
Yeah.
So fucking smart. So smart, that one. So fucking smart. Like, bro, chill. She actually is smart. So I don't know why you think that she's not. She's legit saying, like, why are you telling everybody that you want to go into this elimination? Like, this makes no sense.
And the other thing is that this is an opportunity for Dom to connect with, like, a pretty strong knit group. Maybe not strong, like, in terms of challenges, but it's still numbers or like someone who might look out for you. If you can bond with Cash, her and the rest of the Love Island girls, they're like fingers crossed real tight. They're close. That like, why would you want to now, like the opposite way is if Cash gets power and you're vulnerable because let's say it's like her and a Big Brother player.
Totally.
Okay, Survivor players are at risk the way that this game is panning out. And so like he was a dick to me. He made me feel stupid. Like I'm cool with throwing him in real fast, you know? Like you totally unnecessarily burned that bridge by the way that you treated her. So whatever happens to you, Dominic, I don't feel bad.
No, I don't feel bad either. And especially like if any of her friends are paired up with a Big Brother person, or maybe Cinco, or any of the Amazing Race people that are still like Leo, they're going to throw you in too, especially if Survivor keeps winning and none of the survivors really are going into elimination. Like they're going to want to start thinning out Survivor people. So why don't you think your name would be at the top of the list? Because you're pretty beatable.
Yes. And it comes back to my point of like, you need to start making some cross-show relationships because I think Dominic thinks he's very well insulated within that Survivor strong. And I don't think that like that is it provides you some protection, but as you saw tonight, like it didn't help you. So you need to start creating safety nets in other places, and burning a bridge with one of the most social women in the house doesn't seem like a smart move.
No, definitely bad move.
Another pair we got a decent amount of airtime of, and I don't understand why, is Derek and Shan. I felt like we saw a lot of them, and like unnecessarily as well.
Totally. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand. That kind of went nowhere. That must be like something that happens later.
Yeah.
And it comes back. Like we'll probably see a flashback to that conversation in the next episode.
That would make sense to me because we've got I mean, like they were talking about that they're each social players. They're, oh my God, I get painted as strategic, which I did think was funny when they like cut to Derek's confessional and she's like, and he goes, oh, she has a shanthem. Like she has an anthem for her strategizing shanthem. Like,
yep.
So they're like the Spider-Man meme right now to me. Just kind of like pointing at each
strategizing,
other.
but for doing something devious. Like it's literally like when I'm doing something devious, I sing this song. But what I loved about this is that we actually got like a clip of Survivor, and then I was like, oh, we're seeing a clip of Survivor on the challenge, and I'm like, oh right, this is CBS. This is like was so interesting to me to see a clip from like a different show. I loved that.
That was cool. I was very confused because even during the challenge at the beginning of it, Shan's like, this is what we call a winner's edit. And Derek at first was like, what are you talking about? And then he kind of just played along with it.
Yeah, that was a strange vibe.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that was about, and maybe it's some foreshadowing. I do think that in these first 3 episodes that CBS is laying some foundation for some stuff coming up. Because we've gotten some Alyssa scenes, we've gotten this Derek scene that I'm interested to see what they do to like tie this all together, and if like, or are they just completely misdirecting us? I don't know, but I do think it's some foreshadowing.
Yeah, I think so too, for sure.
All right, let's see. We talked about all this stuff except one thing on my list of notes that happened before the elimination, which is Shannon saying that some alarm bells are going off with how much Tyson and Angela are talking, but she thinks that Tyson will remain Survivor strong.
Yeah, it does seem, I mean, Shan definitely clocked them, and it does not seem like they're trying to hide their alliance in the house. So I wouldn't be surprised if Survivor got an opportunity to take out Angela if they go for it, because first of all, I would go for it. Like if I had a chance, it would be, well, Sarah Lucina for me just because like oink oink, but I think after that it would definitely be Angela for me on my list.
Yeah, I'm wondering, okay, you can answer this for me because as we know, I just know what I see on Twitter about Big Brother, because in my experience with Survivor, maybe not so much in this, at least this last season, because I did feel like it was a lot more fluid and social, but like a lot of times it's like, oh, I saw you talking with someone basically like you're not supposed to be talking to, kind of like boss and robbing it of like, buddy system. Who are you talking to? I need to know, right? Where I'm assuming because you're in like this house all day and there's like, you're not, if you go away, you're not like looking for an idol or something. Like it is okay to leave the group and go be outside or go be in a different room or like play chess or something with someone and have a one-on-one with someone that like maybe they're outside of your alliance, right?
Yeah.
That the conversations are far more fluid on Big Brother.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors I think that play into it. The fact that they're basically locked in a house most of the time because the backyard is closed very often because they're building comps back there. So they're really mostly inside, and there's not a ton. I mean, the house is kind of big, but there's not a ton of areas that they can go, especially when the house is full. I also think it's like depending on who has power and you're trying to get information in the game. So like there's always a reason why you should be talking to someone or can be talking to someone. And even if it is like, oh, you're trying to like talk game with this person, you can always lie and just say like, oh, I was trying to get info from them or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely less suspect, I think. But you know, one-on-one conversations are always like a little sketchy, but they feel like they happen more naturally on Big Brother. At least from what we see, because we have the feeds and stuff. But I'm sure they happen all the time with Survivor too. They just don't show that to us.
Right. So yeah, that's what I was just wondering is like, is Shan being too Survivor-y right now? Or is this, I mean, like, it's not like Tyson and Angela can vote someone off per se, you know, like even them talking to me, I feel like we're still a little dependent on like the show we came from and the strategy that comes with it in our viewpoint of the challenge right now, because like they can't be partners again for, I'm not going to do the math, but a while. Right. And so the only thing that you can really like claim here is that they might like look out for each other. Otherwise, is it that big of a deal? Isn't that like what we as spectators would kind of want? Some cross show pollination here.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how, like, if you're in this Survivor Alliance, how much you trust Tyson to stick with it. Because, like, if Tyson continues to win, or if Angela, let's say Angela continues to win, like, she's going to throw in a different Survivor and not throw in Tyson. So that's, like, more of a threat to you. And then I think the same thing for Tyson. Like, if it's all Survivors and then Angela and her partner left and he's in power, like, he's probably not going to take out Angela. He'll probably put someone that's a Survivor into the elimination. So I think it does kind of add a little bit more of a threat level when two people are so closely paired, especially then if they are going to link up again at some point. I would be concerned about it, probably, especially if they were like really weren't hiding it and they're winning every challenge. I mean, between the two of them, they won the first challenge. Tyson won the second one. She won the third. So I would be a little bit nervous, I think. Plus, they could be having like boot lists and stuff in there. Like, who knows what they're talking about? So that would sketch me, I think.
I don't know. I feel like getting paranoid of it is like, it's a little too early, especially because they've had the power and you know it's not going to stay that way. There's no way that Tyson and Angela can win out, you know? Like, something's going to come up. So
you never know. I don't think it's possible, but
if that happened,
could you imagine? I mean, that would be
crazy. That'd be unheard of. Yeah. But we'll see. So yeah, I don't know. I was like, okay, we've already known that they're gonna look out for each other, but they're just one pair, and there's like numbers in other places. So I don't know. I just kind of I was a little dismissive of that.
I think what would concern me if I'm Shan and I don't have a good relationship with Tyson, not saying that she doesn't, but if there's someone that I don't have a good relationship with and Tyson doesn't want to take the shot, like he can very easily have Angela and her partner take the shot and get like no blood on his hands and not make any waves in the alliance. So if you really have like a cross show duo and the shows are really aligned with each other, like it's very easy to probably like pick people off from the other shows that you don't want to take a shot at yourself.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why I'm also kind of hoping for more people to do what Tyson and Angela are doing. Like,
oh, totally.
Let's break these lines down a little bit so that it's not that big of a deal if Cash is talking to Derek or whatever, you know, like.
And I would use it. I would say, like, listen, I have you. If I'm in power and like you want a Big Brother person out, just tell me. And like, you don't need to get the blood on your hands. If you're also a Big Brother person, like if it's me and Derek X or Xavier or something, I'll be like, you want to take out Kylan? Like, I'll throw him in. I don't care. I'm not on that show.
Yeah. And
I have no loyalty to them. I can do whatever you want. If you don't want to work with these people anymore, like just tell me who, I'll throw them in. Like that could be a good way to build a bridge. Little iffy though, because like they could just say like, oh, Katie's gonna just throw everybody from Big Brother in. But you never know, you know?
Yeah. And part of it is whoever you throw in still has the opportunity to win. So
exactly. It's not like a voting out. It's not like a Big Brother or a Survivor where you're actually just rallying votes against somebody.
These moves aren't necessarily definite. They are just, they have consequences for both or for everyone involved. And I think Tasha brought up like a great point that she's like, yeah, I'm Survivor strong, but at the end of this, like, I got to look past the relationships I have, the show that I was on, because I'm trying to win this money. And I heard Survivor strong a little bit too much today.
Yeah, it feels like the Survivor players
breakdown.
The Survivor players are going too hard in the Survivor strong thing, and I think there is definitely going to be a breakdown at some point. If anything, the survivors I would want to get out are Ben and Sarah, because they worked so closely together on Winners at War. Like, get these two out. They're too loyal to each other. At least from, if I'm a viewer of the show, I'd be like, these two are like besties. Get one of them out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. And at least one of them had to have watched their season, right? Who wasn't on Survivor. Like, someone must
They're
have.
also two winners of Survivor.
Yeah.
So get them out.
Yeah. But, I mean, as much as Tyson has not supposedly, he has said like they annoy him, they are in a way shields for him because well, having other winners. So yeah, in conclusion, I want to see a little bit more cross-pollination between the shows. So Shan being like, oh, those two, it's like, no, shut up, let it happen. Like, let me see more of this. Let's build some relationships. Let's mix things up a little bit. But
yeah,
it's only episode 3, so I'm not complaining. It's just I would like to see more of it.
What I love, though, so far is that we can talk this long about strategy on a challenge.
Yes.
Because when do we ever get to do that? This is, like, so fun, I think, for me to just, like, have my brain, you know, working out all of these different scenarios that could go down in this house and these different alliances. Like, we really don't get to see this in the challenge that often, especially because we have so many returnees that have built-in relationships with each other. So there's like no point. And the twist throw is different. Like, this is, we know what it is. The partners are going to change every week. That is really, really fun. That adds like a whole different element. And I'm having a great time just even thinking about like how all these things could go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also helps that everyone is a rookie and we're not bringing in rookies from like an entirely different country where like English is their second language and struggle to already connect with people who have connections going on for 10 years.
Decades.
But no worries, MTV. I will still watch next season and catch up on last season because I am dedicated to your trash can that is the challenge flagship right now. And if you could just make it better, that'd be dope.
Yeah, if you could
that
would
be
better,
great.
That would be great.
I mean, like, I don't want to complain about it because I'm enjoying your other 2 shows right now so much, but like, come on.
You guys know what to do. You're doing it on All Stars and Challenge USA. Just do it on the regular show.
Absolutely. Let's move into the daily elimination. Okay. And I was cracking up when Tyson and Alyssa had their pre-challenge little confessional. I was laughing so much. So Tyson is like, yeah, I'm not worried about this running. That's fine by me. One person said, I biked 12 miles once. Like, that's not even a warm-up. And then Alyssa turns and was like, yeah, that was me that said that.
And then he looked at her and said, Alyssa, that's not even a warm-up.
I mean, the last person who's going to back off saying something like that to their face is Tyson. But that was the absolute funniest moment of the show. I was laughing so much.
Is anybody's stock right now, just in general, from the show higher than Tyson's? I mean, like, he's hilarious. He's killing it. And I feel like he was on Winners at War, but I feel like he wasn't like the main focus of Winners at War on Survivor because obviously there were just big names all over the place. But like, I feel like before that we didn't really see him for a while, and like now I just feel like he's a star. He's just I feel like he's really coming into his like stardom phase, even though he's already won Survivor and played Survivor 4 times. Like this, I feel like is really thrusting him into the spotlight more than anything. Yeah, he's bringing new fans, like Big Brother fans, Love Island fans, Challenge fans, all to the table and being like, "Damn, Tyson, this guy's the man."
The one thing that concerns me has been his like post-game press where he's just been like shitting on the show. And so I hope we don't get this amazing Tyson season and then never see him again, because it does not seem like he had the most enjoyable time, but at the same time, he could just be trolling us because that is Tyson.
He is like a professional troll. Even as someone who watched Tyson 4 times on Survivor, like this is the highest I've ever been on Tyson, I think.
Yeah. But this challenge, I didn't catch the name. Oh, they said it was basically the challenge version of Hangman. So it was something related to Hangman.
I did not catch the name either.
Okay, but they said it's the challenges version of Hangman. So let's describe what we had to do here. All of the teams were going at once, which I like. And
yes, love that.
So there was 12 steps, and the teams had to run down this relatively long distance, grab a step each, come back. So they basically had to make 6 trips running this. And then once they got their steps, each step could only fit into a certain place. So it was a type of puzzle. They had to set their steps up so you can get to the top of what looks like a shipping crate maybe. And on top of the shipping crate, they had to decide one of the players was going to run back and forth guessing letters for their puzzle, and the other player was going to stand on a relatively not wide beam. Yeah, I would say maybe narrow. Like 4-ish inches. Katie, don't bother. 4 to 5 inches at most wide. And so they had to balance, and they had a pole that they held on the back of their shoulders, like against their neck. And so what would happen is the hangman teammate would, I shouldn't say the hangman teammate, the guessing teammate would run down with their letter, guess. If the letter was in the puzzle, it would show up. If it wasn't in the puzzle, they'd carry a 10-pound bag back, and they had to hook that bag onto a cable that was hanging from the pole their partner was holding. And that continued until someone finished the puzzle first. The way to be eliminated from this was either you fall off the balance beam or the weight on your pole touches the mat below. So we didn't like play it out for everyone. It was just the first team to finish wins. And I wonder though, question, if Tasha and James hadn't fallen,
I guess they would have had to keep going.
They would have to keep going.
They would have had to keep going, yeah.
That'd be my guess. Yeah. So since in the elimination, Tasha and James fell, so they came in last. But in the case of that, they only had to play till first place, which ended up being Kylan and Angela. So
close race between Kylan and Ben, it seemed like. But we never actually got to see them running next to each other. Yeah. So I don't know how close it actually was.
Right. I don't know if they were, it was probably like Ben was close enough to at least say that, like, to give Kylan reason to rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once the person guessed the puzzle right, they had to carry what looked like maybe, my guess would be like a 50-pound bag, because if those small ones were 10, that one was pretty sizable, and run back, bring it up to their podium.
I do breathing heavy just imagining all of this running.
Yeah, I did the Peloton for the first time yesterday, and like I'm still breathing heavy from it. So.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I have an issue with this challenge. Maybe the challengers and not the challenge, but how did it take them so long to guess the puzzles? There were so many.
No idea. Who had the one in Argentina? Was it Enzo? I'm like, dude, come on, Enzo. What are we doing? Come on,
either Enzo or Leo, but I
think it was Enzo.
Can't tell them apart.
Yeah, you can tell you're face blind to those two. I'm pretty sure it was Enzo. And I'm like, dude, come on. It clearly says I don't remember what the first word was, but it was obvious. And then it said in Argentina. And I'm like, my guy, it's so clear. It's so clear. What's the issue?
Yeah, I was mad at everyone for how long it took them to guess the puzzles.
And then for Kylan to guess flutes, the word flutes would have never entered my mind.
Well, he was only missing, I guess, the U.
Yeah. I just feel like I'd be like, flights, flits, flits. I feel like it would never enter my mind.
FLITES. Well, because he knew it wasn't
I guess
an I because letters, right? The I was in Finland.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have many blanks left, but even at that point, like, I don't know. There was a few that I saw. I'm like, how do we have to guess all of the letters in order to finish the puzzle?
And yeah, I wasn't sure if they were able to like Wheel of Fortune solve it, or if they had to get all the letters.
Yeah, so when
felt like they had to get all the letters with the way some of these players were playing. I mean, come on, guys.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's like as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, I guess we have to guess all of the letters right, and we can't just guess the puzzle. And then when Kylan guessed the puzzle, I'm like, you guys are I was holding you to a higher intelligence standard than this.
Yeah, then maybe that was our bad.
I also felt bad for James in his, because I think everybody's first letter was E, and James runs down after it took him and Tasha like 40 minutes to put their stairs together, and he's like, E, and they're like, nah. It's like, oh man, you're probably like the only puzzle up there that didn't have E in it, and they ended up losing. So I did feel bad about that. Otherwise, was there anything else from the challenge that like you think is worth discussing?
My favorite thing that happened in this challenge was seeing the hands pushing the letters. Like, they were like a flipboard, so you got to like see the production's like hands, which you don't usually get to see, I feel like, in challenges, like that it's an actual person like behind a thing. So I thought that was interesting. And I also am curious like how many people were back there just like trying to, and like I don't know. I just want to know more about the mechanics of it. Like, how many Vanna Whites were there?
Did the letters flip at the exact same time if there was more than one?
No, they didn't.
Okay, so it's probably just like, one per puzzle.
Yeah, one per puzzle.
I'd be in. Oh my god! In this economy, it was one per puzzle.
Yeah, true. It's true.
They weren't paying more people than that.
Yeah, no.
They gotta give people days off. This is a great time to give people days off on this. Like, no one's gonna get hurt. No one. Yeah, you know what? You 6 take the day off. We got enough Vanna Whites today.
Yeah.
I will say that I liked this challenge in terms of what it brought, because again, you had some cerebral part, a lot of physical. You also had the endurance, which we know that you can't win the challenge if you can't handle the endurance part. So let's start testing these waters. Like, you're not just gonna propel down a building or whatever we did last week, because I'm blanking out on it, but
jumping on a tire. Yeah, boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how could I forget? TJ, I am sorry for that.
I think we got it in the previously on.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so
I responded when TJ was like, yeah, boy. I was like, yeah, boy, from my couch.
I want to see who's good at running, because there's always someone that surprises you for runners.
Yeah, like Mark Long, where he's like, yeah, running's not my thing. I'm like, really, guy?
Yeah. I am a Mack truck. Well, those have 18 wheels to move on, you know? Let's get them going. Yeah. I've seen those things move on the interstate.
Me too. They're scary.
Yeah. But I think we're 3 for 3 on decent challenges. So
yeah,
this was something that I said in one of the preseason podcasts that I did, was I'm concerned about the types of challenges that we're going to get. Are we going to like strictly rely on heights? Nitro's about to bark, so sorry in advance. I should have closed my blinds. Rookie mistake. I am very apologetic. But yeah, so I'm impressed. I was concerned that we might get too much like spies, allies, movie type of bullshit. And I like that we're not that these have been basic by any means, but I like that we're getting a combination of skills needed in order to succeed in them.
Yeah, me too. Especially like watching Big Brother right before and seeing all the house guests dressed up as mermaids and like rolling through a thing and pushing a ball with their face. This is such a breath of fresh air for me to actually see like something interesting happening on my screen.
I don't want to call anybody out right now, but every time Isaiah said comp beast on our preseason Big Brother podcast, I let it go.
It's a different world. It's a different world.
Because in the Big Brother comps that I've seen, they do not hold a candle to the challenge.
No, some of them can be relatively physical, but the challenge comps are just very, very, very different. And obviously way more high budget. Like they're not built in a backyard, a quote unquote backyard, part of a parking lot behind a studio. So it's, and built in like 2 days. I mean, I don't think they are. I mean, maybe they are, but
maybe. I mean, hopefully not, so that they're testing like the safety and shit. But sometimes I don't even know if they do that. At least on the MTV one. on maybe CBS, so maybe they're doing a little bit higher budget.
Maybe.
All right, so we leave that challenge with James and Tasha losing, so they're going straight to the elimination. Kylan and Angela are our winners.
For James.
Yeah, not great, James. It's hard to be Wes. You know, you can't just keep going into eliminations and coming back. That's not the easiest thing to do.
Nope.
So after the elimination, we get Tyson and Angela talking, and this is where we really hear them talking about this strategy of putting in the weakest teams. And so they think the weakest teams are Dominic and Cash, David and Shannon. But James is the one who brings up Leo, because Leo's like, yeah, I think we're fine, to Justine, because like me and James are Amazing Race. Like we should be good. It should be fine. And then outside, James is sitting there talking to Dominic, being like, no, I want to go against Justine and Leo. I put like 4 exclamation points at the end of the sentence because I was shocked and appalled by this move, which we've already discussed.
Yeah, it's just baffling, especially when Dom is sitting there being like, yeah, man, I'm just like preparing for it. I'm just like ready to go. Like, it's fine. Like, he basically is saying like he wants to go, but James is blinded by Justine's cash, wants the money.
It's also, to me, too early in the season to be like threatened by, oh, I'm not going to make the final because I don't have enough money.
No. And
there's so many people.
It's going to make you more of a target if you just keep going throughout and collecting this money, because then you're going to have a huge bank. You already won an elimination. Like, you have money too. So you should want to go against someone that you can definitely beat, which I guess like maybe he thought he could beat Leo. Who was Leo's partner again?
Justine, who won an elimination, or no, won a challenge the week before.
Like, what? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good move to me. He's like making a target out of himself for so many different reasons here. Not that it matters, because he's gone now. So
yeah, I think he was just trying to do too much. Like, I was impressed by his gameplay at the beginning, and like obviously when your back is up against the wall, it's an entirely different place to be. Where like he was just potentially going in the first week, but he was definitely going in for the next 2. But he just did too much too soon.
Yes.
Like play this out. Although, I mean, who knows? Whoever you went, like, there's no saying who would have won or not won in that type of challenge, because I think anyone could have won or lost that, especially if you don't listen to the rules, Dom.
Yeah, I can't roll my eyes hard enough at this guy. We've already talked about it, so I won't rehash, but
but my eyes are still rolling.
Yeah.
All right, so we get a little bit of a chat between James and Tasha and the winning team, Kylan and Angela. And James and Tasha basically say, like, listen, we'll go against Dominic and Cash. Or what about Sarah and Cinco, since they're not, they're Survivor and Love Island. You guys are both Big Brother. Like, do you want to take a shot at them? And both of them just laughed. Like, they were like, absolutely not. I am not going to throw in people that are likely to beat you and then come back and be angry at us. Like,
no chance.
What are you doing? Even Tasha was like, I would like to pass on whatever James is saying right now.
James is like out of his mind, truly.
I mean, good on you.
The confidence. I appreciate the confidence.
Yeah, but that was interesting. Given like they could have, that's the type of elimination you want to go against a Sarah and a Cinco in, because their strength doesn't matter. And obviously you can't predict the future, whatever. But I don't know, if I'm like Kylan and Angela as we're walking up and we're seeing this like contraption, I'm like, do we? It's a little early though. It's a little early. You don't want to.
It is a little early.
But I still
and they
want to
keep the strong people for whatever reason.
We want to go against the best of the best. And
no, I want to go against the person who's easiest to beat. If I'm ever on a reality show, my motto is I'm taking whoever I know I'm going to beat at the end. Not I have no integrity to say, oh, you played a good game. You need to sit. Nope. Can I beat you? I'm here to win. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. It really depends on like any game I've played. I just try to stay loyal to the people that I promise my loyalty to. And if they end up being stronger than me, it's one of those like, all right, I'm going to have to figure out a way to explain my way or that I should win. But what's nice is that in the challenge, you don't have to do that. You just have to outperform them. So can you outperform them is the thing.
Yeah. I'm loyal until it's like time to not be anymore, where I'm like, okay, I've taken this far enough.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya. The other duo that gets named is Leo and Justine. And this is where Tasha's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about these relationships. I'm here for this cold hard cash. Yeah. So after this, we get some of this Cash Dominic dynamic that we were talking about, where Cash is like, stop telling people that we want to go in. Like, we shouldn't want to go in. Sorry, I just heard like a noise and I thought Nitro was peeing. I was about to flip out. Like, bro, you are better than this.
Oh my God.
It wasn't. It was just like the way the mattress moved. Sorry, I got distracted.
No, don't worry about it.
All right. So yeah, we talked about this dynamic, and again, this is where we really see Dominic being like, she's not playing smart, and goes out and like talks to himself about it and is very dismissive and disrespectful of her.
Yeah, total douchebag.
We're out on you, Dom. Should have brought Wendell in instead.
Hard out. Yeah, please bring us Wendell.
Honestly, he'd be good on the show.
Wendell would be amazing at the show. He would be like a perfect addition for this. But I think he has an injured knee, MCL, ACL, something like that.
Oh, so he just
Something's
has to
going
like
on there.
Build things out of wood.
Yeah.
Got it. I mean, Casey is back after her knee injury. If Casey can't, do you want to be shown up by Casey, Wendell?
Oh, God, I can't with Casey.
All right. After this, we get to the arena, and this game is called Plug and Play. So Kylan and Angela put in Dominic and Cash, and Kylan and Angela's reasoning is they're trying to take out weak teams. They think that Dominic and Cash are the weakest team here.
Seems like a little bit of a scared way to play to me, honestly. But we've talked about it already. I don't like the strategy. I got a lot of like the annoying Kylan of this episode that we got in Big Brother 23. So I was just like, oh my God, thank God. Like, there's so many people still on this cast that we don't just have to like listen to Kylan filibuster.
Do you think that they were actually the weakest team? Again, a quick rundown.
No, David and Shannon.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say David and Shannon.
David is the weakest of all time. He's the weakest man of all time. I don't know how he's not the first person that you're throwing in. He's not going to come back. He would not even know what the rules are. That's the thing about David. He has no idea what the rules of any games are. He just has no clue. He's a flop. He's a flop.
I'm not disagreeing. I have nothing else to add to that besides you're absolutely
correct. If anybody forgot to plug the thing, it would be David.
Besides Dominic.
The best thing about David was in Big Brother 22. He got a power somehow. I think it was in like a comp in the dark. You had to like feel stuff, and he grabbed one. And I don't remember what it did. I think it took him off the block one week when he was on the block, and everybody knew that he used it on himself. But he continued to walk around and was like, did you use your power on me? Why'd you use your power on me? And they're like, bro, we know you used it yourself. He's like, no, I don't know. Like, did you use your power on me? And I always just, every time I see him now, like Cody Calafiore was like, dude, we know it was you. And Tyler's like, stop doing that. Like, we know it was you that used it on yourself. And he's just like, no, did you use it? It's just so funny. It's just like, that's the permanent memory I have of like him thinking that he's big braining it. And everyone's like, dude, we know that you used it on yourself. The guy's a clown.
Well, I mean, the good news is at least he doesn't get a lot of airtime.
Thank God.
So
unless we can like dunk on him, if like it's gonna be stuff like that,
yeah,
like then put him on TV so we can dunk on him. It's funny.
they did that last week. I have to hold myself up against Tyson. So
yeah, you
all
guys
right,
more of that.
let's talk about plug and play because first of all, it's a dirty name. Anyway, I don't know. To me, like it's a bit of a euphemism. So I won't lie to you. I wasn't listening to the rules. So my description of this, if it needs to change, just fix it. I was doing the works cited page of my discussion board post during this. I'm like, I need to finish this before we podcast. So I was like, I can figure the rules out from watching.
Can I tell you something about myself?
Mm-hmm.
Every time TJ or Jeff Probst, specifically TJ or Jeff Probst, explain what the instructions are of a challenge, I black out. And I can never, I'm like, wait, what? Every single time I'm like, I don't know what any of them just said. Not so much Big Brother because it's like easy, but Jeff and TJ, it's like I just go, like my ears just turn off when they start explaining the rules. I figure it out as they go.
I do that more often than not. For me, I'm not great at auditory directions. So
no, me neither.
That's like a big reason. Like I did my master's, my doctorate all online because like I don't want anybody talking to me to expect me to learn from them. My boyfriend gets so mad at me when we're in the car and he's like, I know where we're going. I'll give you the directions. I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to your directions. Like I have Waze muted. I need to see. I want to have a visual. And so I would say that if I'm listening, I'm not retaining these directions. It's from watching it. I just am not sure if I missed anything. Cause like in this challenge, so I'll explain it. And then here's where my question is. I don't know if you know the answer to or not, but it's fine. So there is a tank that is filled with water and there is a bunch of like
shapes.
Yeah, like they looked like screws, nuts, bolts type of thing.
Except the triangles, like I don't know what those were.
Yeah, we just had a lot of 3-dimensional figures going on that they were chained to the bottom of this tank. So one of the two players had to go down and like unchain them, and then they would be brought up. The other teammate would take them and then like throw them over the ledge until all of the pieces were up. And then once that happened, that teammate who was up on top goes down this like fire pole, and they have to stack all of the pieces so that they're standing in a tower. I don't think that there's any rhyme or reason. But while this is happening, the water in that tank is draining out this plug. And so if the water... Now, here's my question. You know how there was that line on the tank? Was it if all the water is gone, or if the water went underneath that line?
If the water went under the line.
It was like literally at the line.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way. When TJ honked his horn, I was like, oh, they're done. Dom fucked it up. But then they were like, oh, you win. I was like, no, because the water is at the line. But I guess it had to be like below the line and not at the line. So they barely squeaked it out.
Yeah, they lucked out of like the thickness of the masking tape that they were using
they
to
really
mark
did.
off that line. So if the water went below the line, you were disqualified, you lost. There was a plug in there that you could easily block.
Yeah, it was like a pipe.
Yeah. So like James stood there with his foot over it. Well, actually a funny part of the challenge was James was like, I sat on it, and that was a dumb mistake. That hurt a lot.
Yeah. Also, like, what, are you going to hold your breath the whole time? You're just going to sit down on this thing underwater? I don't think so.
Well, I think it was while he was untangling things, so he was trying to like multitask.
Okay, that makes sense.
My question for this, because as we've said, Dominic at no point like plugged this pipe at all.
He just no point
stood there and watched Cash build this tower. It fell over once. Why was not a single Survivor player yelling to him, like, clog the pipe?
I don't know. Every time we hear people screaming, well, your pipe. Like, I don't know if they were screaming, you didn't hear them. Like, didn't seem like anybody was screaming, but in their confessionals, they were like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're making an idiot out of yourself. And no one shouted out to him to do it. So I don't know. From what we heard anyway.
That's the thing is, did it happen? 2, if it didn't, does that mean 3, we're establishing rules that like you can't help the people in the challenges? Or 4, do they just not realize there's no rules in the challenge except for the
Yeah,
rules
I
that
don't
they tell
know.
you? Like it's explicitly only the rules that they tell you, and then anything else is fair game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember from the first elimination, which I don't remember what it was. If they were like yelling out tips, because I don't think they were last week. Like I don't think they were like telling which, because
Yeah,
I
I
feel like
don't
in the
think they
traditional
were last week
challenge,
either.
if people were rooting for Tiffany and Cashel, let's say, for example, which I
Mhm.
don't think many people were, they'd be like, "Oh no, that one's wrong. Put that one there." Like
Yeah.
they would be telling exactly where those memorization things went.
Oh,
Eh,
the first one, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
It
that's
was the
okay.
rope. It was the pyramid, like, rope
Oh,
through
right,
the
right, right.
knots and
Yeah,
stuff,
and I
which,
don't think
like,
people were like, "Put it down that way." Like I don't think they were
I
telling them
mean,
instructions.
even if you could, it
Yes.
wasn't, like, anything. So I'm wondering, I mean, because
Maybe they
we've
don't
seen
know if you can do
challenges
that.
where, like, people have just been straight up coached to a
Oh my
win.
God. I feel like even in All Stars, everyone's like, the answer is right here. Just do this right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, and, like, do they just not know that you can? Because like Kayla's watched the show. Some of them have watched the challenge. They've seen it. Or are we just like gentlemen's agreement to
Yeah,
have
maybe.
integrity right now? Because otherwise, like, why weren't one of the 7 other Survivor players yelling?
Or Enzo, who's Dom's friend.
Yeah.
I don't know. Made no sense. Or the Love Island people, because they want
Yeah,
Cash to come
Cash
back,
to
right?
say. Yeah, so you have like over half the cast who
Yeah,
probably
it doesn't
wants
make
you
any
to
sense.
come back, and no one told them.
Yeah, it's weird. It is weird.
I don't know. So
It's a good point.
we as we've said, Cash and Dominic win. I actually wrote like, wait, did he not think to clog the drain? Because then I thought he was standing there waiting for like a certain time because he was like, oh well, if you clog it at this point, then there's like less water pressure pushing
Yeah.
down. So like I thought that there was something smart happening. And
Yeah,
then
no,
after he
definitely
was like,
not.
oh, I just didn't think of it. Like I was like, oh, this is real. Like he
It was
almost just
dumb.
like sent himself home.
I was honestly, and I like Cash. I was rooting for it to happen because I wanted Dom to like just make a complete fool out of himself after being so cocky all episode.
Mhm.
Even right before we got like a little confessional right before they went into the elimination, and Cash was like, "Do you want me to go?" And he's like, "No, I'm doing it," and like wouldn't even give her the opportunity. Like I don't think it's an advantage of one person being in the water and one person not.
Mhm.
You're just going down and
No.
unhooking things and then like treading water until you can put your foot down without drowning.
Right. And if anything, like if building a tower, you
Probably
would
if
think
he's
you would want the
taller.
taller person
Yeah.
to be doing that. Um no, I mean Dom this was not a good episode for Dom. Like and it's
No.
hard to say that about a lot of people who get thrown into a challenge or into elimination and win to say like it still wasn't a good episode for you.
No,
Like
even TJ
you
was like, dude, what happened
yeah.
there? Like, if it
And
weren't
he
for
was just like,
Cash, you would have fully lost.
yeah. But they managed to win, and so Cash has come back, which I'm happy about. I'm enjoying having
Hmm.
her on my screen. Dominic, I've lost a lot of respect for you through this episode, and
Yes.
we'll see how things go from there. But that was our episode.
Yeah.
We have the most important update in terms of the preview. Next week is fucking trivia. Let's
Yep. I
fucking
can't wait.
go.
I
I'm
cannot wait to
so
see these people do
excited.
trivia. I'm so excited too. This is going to
Oh,
be like a whole new world for us because we don't know like how
mhm.
smart some of these people are. It's going to be great.
And they just don't a lot of them probably have no idea just how much TJ loves trivia.
Oh my God. I don't think anybody loves anything as much as TJ loves trivia.
I love trivia because TJ loves trivia.
Me
You
too.
know that I when I saw that, I like I'm caps locks like that cap meme typing like let's fucking go. We got trivia next week.
Yes,
Woo!
so excited. We see a good visual of TJ laughing. So obviously,
Mhm.
someone, at least one person, says something extremely dumb, and it looks scary as hell. They fall like through a thing on a bungee cord at the top of a building. It looks really scary.
Next week is where if there's any challenge fans from before, like if they were fans before being on the show, expose themselves, because you can't walk up and see TJ's face and be like, this might be trivia, and not know. You know what I mean? Or as soon as he says trivia, like I'm looking for facial expressions next week, because if like I know that Kayla is a fan of the challenge, so I'm interested to see how she reacts. But anybody else, like I think some people, if they've watched, might get exposed next week in terms of, oh, I actually know a little bit more about this show than I've let on.
Yeah, totally. I'm surprised that there's not like more open challenge. Like I'd be like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm on the challenge. This is like holy grail. That would be holy grail for me, because I just grew up. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah. I'm so excited for next week. So excited. Like I can't believe I have to wait until next Wednesday.
I know. That's the one thing I mean, I think the show is great. I just don't want to wait for it week over week. That's how I feel.
Now. I agree. Is there anything else you want to say about this episode?
No, I don't think so. I think we're 3 for 3 with great episodes. This is great. We also didn't get the thing that's been a little bit annoying for us, is the strategy flashback. It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Which was nice, because I think if they did it 3 weeks in a row, I'd be like, okay, we don't need to do this every single week. We got a little flashback of Kylan and Angela talking, but like we were not surprised by who went in, so it was a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope we keep it up. I'm happy.
Me
All right. Well, Katie, what are you doing on the internet these days?
Well, you can find me at RealSomeKatie on Twitter and Instagram. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSomeKatie with an underscore at the end. I just started playing a new game yesterday that's like a choose your own adventure game, kind of. And it's wild, and it lets the Twitch chat vote for like your adventure, basically. So it's like, It was like crazy. So if anybody wants to watch me play that's what I'm playing right now. You can drop a follow. It's free. You can also find me all over the place on Silent Podcasts these days. You can listen to Carrie and I talking all things Real Housewives on the Cool Water Show. You can also listen to us. Not us, just kidding. You can also listen to me talking about Big Brother on Bounced Checks, our Big Brother podcast. Our schedule's a little janky this week because Big Brother is really screwing with us. Well, first, the January 6th hearing is screwing with us. There's supposed to be the live eviction episode tomorrow. Originally, they moved it to Friday, and now for some reason, we just have a 2-hour episode on Sunday. So we don't know if there's going to be feeds or no feeds. Like, of course, they're not announcing anything to us. So I think TBD on what the schedule is going to look like in terms of podcasts this week. But we are going to be with you every week talking about this crazy, messy disaster of a season. We're here. We're in it for the long haul. So check us out there.
You know, leave it to Trump to just ruin even our podcasting schedule. Like,
I know it ruins our schedule too, because now we have to push our Housewives podcast back. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I saw it and text you and was like, does this mean we're recording Monday?
I was like, I'm sorry. And of course, this week
totally fine.
We have a blind side coming up. We're gonna miss the fallout. We're gonna miss the veto competition. We're gonna miss the HOH. Obviously, we're gonna miss this new twist that they're coming. We're missing all of like the fallout from the blind side. It's just like, this is the one week where really we're gonna not have feeds for 4 days, when it's gonna be like peak craziness. Of course, typical.
Also, I mean, not to get too political here, but we do from time to time. This is a silent podcast where we're anything but silent. I also hate the fact that we are allowing these like monsters who did this to then like take over a night of just anyone's life. Like, haven't you already fucked up enough shit?
Right.
Why are we giving
prime
this
time
the present?
On a Thursday just for ratings? Like, give me a break. That's not what this should be about. Yes, I agree with you. Let me watch my trash in peace, okay?
Honestly.
How dare you interrupt my schedule?
It's one of the few things we can still enjoy in this country as a woman. So,
sort of.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even, I mean, most people aren't even really enjoying Big Brother. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm KGD26 on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and the Venmo. So, you know, take care of me in any way you want to, whether it's responding to my tweets about Love Island. I'm watching both UK and USA. So,
UK is still going?
Girl, UK goes on.
Oh, I assumed it was over, summer. And that's why US was coming back. Oh my god.
No. So now they're both on. They're such easy watches though, because like, one, I'm not taking notes to podcasts about them. Two, it's like such lowbrow, like, you don't have to think, you know what I mean? It's just, like, I can do my laundry, I can, like, I can be walking around and, like, as long as I can still kinda hear it, it's fine, so and especially because, like, Love Island UK, Twitter is, like, heavy with it, so if I'm
Yeah.
usually already know what's gonna happen in the episode because I don't get to watch it live because it's on at 4 PM my time, and I
Yeah.
work till usually 4:30, 5 o'clock. That like, I could put it on. However, um, I don't wanna multitask that way where it's like,
Yeah.
I see what's happening on Twitter, so I already know it's more just me, like, getting to kinda see the story behind it as opposed to, like, Twitter's view of it. Because as we know, Twitter fans can be a little skewed in whatever direction is happening.
No.
I know, this is breaking news.
What?
This breaking news will actually take, more precedence over the Thursday insurrection, on
Yeah.
news, like,
Yeah.
this just in, Twitter fans are fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
First piece of evidence, hashtag BB24. So, um, I would like to call and then, like, stupid stan accounts to the anyway, what I'm saying is I'm tweeting a lot about Love Island, both of them, so, I would encourage you to watch Love Island USA. I'm watching it for the first time, and not just you, but the listeners as well. Um, it just started yesterday, so you're not far behind, and as we see, there's people from Love Island on the challenge, and that's how I get into, like, half of these stupid shows anyway, is because I wanna see where these people are coming from. I just still refuse to watch Big Brother in its entirety, and I'll just Twitter follow it. So
Makes
yeah,
sense.
I'm tweeting about that stuff. And in terms of podcasting, Katie's basically covered it. I am still waiting on Isaiah to record with me for Tomboy Meets World. So if Isaiah, if you get wind of this, like, I don't know, text me back. So yeah, Real Housewives and the challenge, and sooner, maybe later, I don't know which of those words, I will have Tomboy Meets World out. Just, I can't record the episode solo. So, otherwise, if you are looking to watch the videos of this, because sometimes you miss out on some good facial expressions, like
Mm-hmm.
I danced last weekend,
True.
just, other dumb shit. Like, you should, if you watch the videos, oh, I forgot to put the banner down. Valencia, don't make fun of me for that. Um, so, uh, Twitch and YouTube search Sound Podcast, follow. And what's cool is that when you watch us live, you can comment and interact with us. We love that. That's like one of our favorite parts of podcasting besides spending so much time with each other. Mm-hmm. And then follow us on Twitter at silent_podcast. We also stream live there. And in addition, just like update you on when we are covering new things or put podcasts up, whatever it may be. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or any other ones, rate, subscribe, follow, 5 stars, review, any of those things that you're supposed to do. And if this isn't a 5-star episode, then just wait till the next one, which hopefully it is, and you can say nice things about us then. But see, I told you she makes fun of me. Yeah, she's got me. She's got me good. She knows that there's just some things I'll never do right. But that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week, maybe with a guest, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. But otherwise, if you're missing us, catch us Monday on Cool Water Show, where we're covering Real Housewives. But
yes,
enjoy your day, evening, night, whenever you're listening to us. But we will see you later. Bye.
Bye.